and they're not fired. They're not fired. They're not fired for that. Spoiler warning for all of Glee, the end of Glee, it's season 4 onwards of Glee. Hello, this is... No, wait. Do I have an intro? Not really. My name's Olivia. They say I do dark magic, but that's just a rumor. But what's not a rumor is that we're talking about Glee today. So I was a major nerd throughout my entire life. I still am now. I was super duper into every fandom you could even think of when I was younger. And with that being the case, I lost my mind when Glee came out. I was like, oh my god, finally, oh, it's a show that represents us, the loser kids, and what we could be. I was an annoying little brat, basically. I was a proper drama kid. You can probably get that vibe off of me. I've been told I have a musical theatre vibe. And if they were basing that assumption off of Glee, then I have something to worry about, So I thought it would be fun to delve back into Glee, you know, being a slightly more together person than I was back then. Also, when I watched Glee, I got up to like season 3 or 4, I think, and then I kind of like dipped out because I was like, okay, this is different now and I'm scared. And that was actually a form of self-care, turns out. Late season Glee was bad. How bad was it? There's some wild stuff going on. It's like they knew that they had a finite amount of time. I don't know if they knew when the show was ending, but they kind of were under the impression that they could just kind of get away with all sorts now because like nobody was really paying attention. But I am paying attention now. So I'm gonna go through in no particular order really the wild stuff that happened in late season Glee, specifically that they were like, yeah, we can do what we want. I would like to say preemptively that anything Will Schuester does, already wild. Like anything he does is just another level of absurdity. I could film a whole video around Will Schuester. If you want that, let me know. So we're kind of going from the point where Rachel, Kurt, Santana, the initial Glee cast head off to New York to pursue their dreams. There's an episode based completely around twerking. And it is as bad as it sounds. Sue, rightfully, and I'm just going to say this off the bat, Sue is the protagonist of Glee, and Will is the antagonist. They got it all mixed up. So Sue bans twerking at McKinley High, because at this point, Sue is the principal, because she blackmailed everyone. I don't know if Will's just used to trying to go against whatever Sue says, but he's like, no, actually, I'm going to have the kids twerk. And then they just, like, he's twerking with them. He asks... I don't know if this was offered by the character or if Will asked. I hope to God it wasn't the latter, because he asked the one like mixed race guy in the group to teach everyone how to twerk. They all go down the hall together, Will included, twerking and dancing to Blurred Lines. What? Why would that be all right to do? I don't know. Next on my list I have something that's genuinely bad writing, but also just bad vibes. So from the very start of Glee, pretty much, Kurt was being bullied for being gay by Karofsky, who it turns out was a closeted gay himself. An innovative storyline. He did all sorts of terrible things, from just ruining Kurt's day, pushing him against lockers, slushying him, and then ultimately threatening his life, which was later on in season 6, I can't even get it out. Kurt comes back from New York, because they all come back from New York in season 6. Kurt comes back and finds out that after he broke up with Blaine decided to go and date Karofsky, Kurt's bully, who, as said before, threatened his life. And that's fine. And that's an okay thing to do to your ex. Another thing that happens is Will goes and starts coaching Vocal Adrenaline, which is fine, I guess, but like Sue basically just wants to get him out of her hair. So she's like, yeah, I can get you the hookup with Vocal Adrenaline and you'll get so many perks and all the money. And then Will's like, yeah, okay, I'll go do that. It just the vibes are off, you know? And Vocal Adrenaline hates Will. Vocal Adrenaline is like us now looking back on everything and being like, what is happening? What are you doing? So Will also tries to, like, doing a lot of this because I'm just like Will also tries to kind of like befriend the kids in Vocal Adrenaline, like he did with New Directions. And it doesn't go the way he had hoped. Probably because that was a once-in-a-lifetime thing, because kids don't really want to be your friend, Will. It was weird that they did initially. So one of the ways that Will tries to, like, bond with Vocal Adrenaline is through song, as per usual. But he sings Same Love to them. He sings Same Love, which is the song that Macklemore wrote that was just like, oh, when I was younger, I thought that I was gay because I was tidy. So he sings that to them to try and make them more tolerant of people who are different from them, and it goes as well as you might imagine. Will and Emma actively bang in school. FBI, open up! On school property, and Becky walks in and sees them doing that, and they're not fired. They're not fired for that. They're not fired. They're like, oh, sorry, Emma's ovulating and we had to bang. Don't care. Don't do that. Don't. Oh. I'm so mad about it. Don't do that. Don't. That's where children are. Don't. This one's not offensive, but it's just, they just snuck it in there, like in like the last season. The perfect casting of Jennifer Coolidge as Brittany's mum. Ken Jeong is also Brittany's dad, which is so wild. But just Jennifer Coolidge just is in season 6 of Glee. If you were like, I've not seen season 6 and I don't want to, do it for Jennifer Coolidge, honestly. Okay, so yeah, on Brittany. So the writers were like, wow, it turns out Brittany's not dumb. Brittany's actually a genius. Brittany apparently has like a genius math brain, which has just been misconstrued as her being dumb. Okay, it's fine if she is dumb though. Like, yeah, did you need to? And combining the fact that Jennifer Coolidge is in season 6 with the genius thing, Brittany's biological father is Stephen Hawking. Ooh, what a fun piece of writing. What a fun piece of writing. So that's what they decided in season 6. Woman fully breaks down crying while discussing late season Glee. After the original Glee kids leave to go to New York, because they're all going to New York, there's a new Glee club, which includes Marley, who is a fantastic singer and allegedly like the new Rachel. There's a cheerleader who's in the Glee club, and she convinces her that that Marley is gaining weight when she's actually not, and gives her an ED. Which is not great. But also, just because Marley doesn't fancy wearing an outfit that makes her feel exposed, like a bikini, on stage, Will suspends her for a week. There's no excuse. It's just, you know what, I'm gonna move on. Suspended for a week in season 6. I think it's season 6. Oh my god, it's all blurring into one. So Sue's finally won, pretty much, and the old quiet room is now a computer lab, which, by the way, she has the Becky Jackson Memorial Computer Lab. I was terrified. I thought Becky had died, but it was just a joke because she'd gone to college and Sue was mourning her not being there, which was quite funny but terrifying. And as a part of Sue's rule, she has made all of the Glee kids that were there at the school transferred to different schools. But the show was just like, no, we're getting rid of all of these guys. We've got like several different stories going on, but we're just scrapping them and throwing them away. And it's just lazy as hell. I will say, apart from Kitty, who's now the head cheerleader, and she was like, I was the only one who survived the culling. And Unique also appears in season 6, which is great. I don't even know how to begin to talk about this part. So Sue has like a storage locker in which she contains all of her hatred for the Glee Club and its affiliates. And she just has all of them, like all of their pictures, and like, I don't know, like crosses out their eyes, throws darts at them. What I recall is that she has like a spinning wheel, not like a oh, Wicked Witch spinning wheel, a wheel of fortune or misfortune that she spins, and I guess whoever it lands on is who she's going to torture that week. But then you go further into this hurt locker, you reveal a hidden what can only be described as a shrine for Klaine, which is the ship name for Blaine and Kurt and Blaine, Klaine. And she's like, I've been shipping Klaine since the beginning. And she just reveals that she ships him and she doesn't like that they're not together. So she devises a plot to get them back together. Sue makes a fake elevator and traps them in it. And if you've seen Saw, Sue's made a Billy the puppet of herself, a Sue the puppet, which wheels out on a tricycle and speaks to Kurt and Blaine and says, "Hey, the temperature is going up. I provided you with a very romantic meal, and you're not getting out of here until you have a proper kiss, like a passionate, deep, gay kiss." Where did she get the money? It's not the biggest question we should be asking ourselves, but where did she get the money? Sue the puppet just like comes out of like a wall that goes up and then like has like smoke going around. Maybe I'm dramatizing this in my head a little bit because it was so harrowing. And then eventually when they do kiss, the Sue the puppet's there and she's just kind of like mumbling happily like, yes. And then she just raises her little puppet arms up like, yeah. It's a trip, honestly. So Brittany and Santana, the queens that they are, get married. Great, I love them. They were part of like my, oh wow, 2 women together? I've not seen this before in mainstream programming. Wow, I wonder if that could be for me. You know, so they mean a lot to me. This ties into the fact that Kurt and Blaine are broken up. They've just gotten back together because of the Sue thing. So then Sue brings Kurt and Blaine into like Brittany and Santana's like bridal suite area where they're getting ready for the wedding. There are 2 suits there on mannequins with their faces on, Kurt and Blaine. Sue's like, hey, get married now with Brittany and Santana. And they're like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And then Brittany's like, yeah, do it. Get married with us. I looked up to you guys a bunch growing up. It was good to see you together and know that I could be a gay. Just get married with us. And then they're like, surely Santana doesn't approve of this. And then Santana comes out like, what Brittany wants, Brittany gets. Get married with us. It's a 4-way wedding. Two couples, Brittany and Santana and Kurt and Blaine get married. They get married together in a barn. Not all of them together. Like, you know what I mean. I just saw the next one. So in season 4, they do a school shooting episode. They do a school shooting episode. Just don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do that. But they do it. And there are some moments in it that are very kind of like emotional and poignant. And I get what they're trying to do, like, oh, even in like a happy-go-lucky show like Glee, shooting in schools is still a very big problem in America. But also don't broach this subject in Glee. It needs to be handled with care. It's important. Don't do Ryan Murphy. And it's called Shooting Star. What? The next topic is a bit different. Tina has a crush on pretty much everyone of the male persuasion in Glee Club. She has a crush on Blaine, who is very gay and does not reciprocate. And he's very unwell at one point, and he is like dozing and sleeping on his bed, and she kind of just takes some vapor rub and like rubs it on his chest. Genuinely upsetting to view. It's just the vibes are bad. The vibes are off. We didn't need to see that. It's then kind of thrown around in like a very joking way afterwards. They did Tina dirty in the later seasons, I will say. They made her a complete, that's an okay word, jerk. Dalton Academy burns down to the ground. They're like performing one day, and then Blaine's there, and Kurt's like, what's up, Blaine? He's like, Dalton Academy burned down. And at this point, Blaine is like coaching the Glee Club there, because they're all coaching everyone's Glee Clubs. The Warblers have to come join New Directions.
Dalton Academy burned down.
I'm going to talk about Rachel Berry, not Leah Michelle, who is allegedly very mean and also racist.
I'd like to go around and ask everyone what solos they'd like to hear me perform at sectionals. Right, you know what? Let me at it.
Rachel gets into NYADA, which she really shouldn't have in the first place. She completely choked when she auditioned. Kurt performed fantastically, and he didn't get in. Rachel basically bullied Whoopi Goldberg into letting her in. Then Kurt eventually does get in because he auditions on the spot in like a Christmas pageant they're doing at NYADA, and that's not how that works, I'm pretty sure. And then Blaine immediately just gets in. So Rachel's goal, her like entire life, has been playing Fanny Brice in Funny Girl, played by Barbara Streisand, who is her idol, all of that stuff. She gets the role in Funny Girl. she gets it. Great, good job, Rachel. And then she's offered an audition for a TV show, which she goes to. She calls in sick for Funny Girl and goes and auditions for this show. It goes terribly badly. It's very bad. It's not even like a musical show, so why did you like seek her out for it? I don't even know where to go from here. And then she goes back to Funny Girl. Her manager, whatever, is like, don't mess me around. I'll sue your ass so bad. And then the casting people call her up. It's the dean from Community calls Rachel up and is like, sorry, your audition went real bad, but we want to offer you a development deal where we base a show around you. And it gets called That's So Rachel. How dare you besmirch Raven's name, number one. Why would you look at Rachel Berry and go, oh great, yeah, she deserves a show by herself on her own. The insufferable Rachel Berry deserves a show. I wonder why it tanked. The show tanks. And then that's when Rachel goes back to Ohio and coaches New Directions. We'll move on. So Finn becomes like a teacher in McKinley. He coaches the Glee Club because that's what they all just do. He becomes like pretty good friends with Emma. Emma's panicking one day for obsessive compulsive disorder related reasons, and Finn kisses her on the mouth. Him and Will have a fallout about it, but they have like a Backstreet Boys / NSYNC sing off about it, which is just a choice. There's a gas leak in the choir room and everyone hallucinates, and Blaine imagines everyone around him to be a Muppet. They're all up his butt, and then they perform What Does the Fox Say, and it's as good as it sounds. Rachel, while in Funny Girl, and Santana, hearing from Rachel that they're holding auditions for the understudy, is like, I might go audition for the understudy. And because Santana is Santana, she gets the role of the understudy. Rachel is livid. I don't know how else to describe it. She's so gosh darn mad about Santana being her understudy, and it's weird. It's weird how mad she is. I think they try to pass it off like, oh, she's paranoid that Santana's going to sabotage her, but she's still being real weird about it, you know? If that was me, I'd be like, what, bro? Maybe we shouldn't be friends. You're freaking me out. While they're all in New York, there's a Christmas episode in which, while they're all single, Kurt, Santana, and Rachel, and they're all living in the same huge loft, which they can somehow afford. It's classic Friends nonsense. There's a really buff Santa Claus who they invite over for Christmas. Kurt, Rachel, and the openly gay Santana all want to bang him. They all want to be with him. So the three of them, they have some helium, and then they perform an Alvin and the Chipmunks song while their voices are really high. And I think I've said all I can say about that. Another New York thing is that Sue goes to see the opening night of Rachel's show, Funny Girl, is very unaffected by it, just does not care about it. She leaves, she picks up Morty's dad, Steve Parnell, and they go back to Rachel, Kurt, and Santana's loft, and they fornicate all over it. They have sex all over it. Like, on every surface, their ex-teacher comes to their home and just has sex all over it. So Sam's back at McKinley, and Sue fully hypnotizes him to sabotage the Glee Club, get Rachel to fall for him, and then he doesn't remember any of it, so he's just like getting Rachel to like him, and then they kiss, and then he's like, whoa, what's happening? I love Mercedes. Hypnosis plotline, really? Okay. Sue firebombs Will's car. In retaliation, Will shaves Sue's head. Then we get to the end of season 6. There are a few things here that you might want to buckle up before you hear. So they make McKinley, the school that's the school, they make it a performing arts school, and they ask Will to be the principal of the school. Like, oh wow, Will, you've changed the world, and now you're going to be the principal of William McKinley Performing Arts School. He's like, thank you, yeah, good. Honestly, that's less believable than the next thing I'm going to mention. Sue's vice president. She's vice president. Vice President Sylvester. That's good for her. Rachel is pregnant with Kurt and Blaine's baby, which is it's not, on the scale of things, not that wild. It's just they went hard on the time skip, am I right? Also, she wins a Tony. And the final thing that I have on my list, probably doesn't seem like much to anyone else apart from me. In season 1 of Glee, the footballers are like being asked to join. The footballers who do join, apart from like Finn, Puck and whatever, are Mike Chang and Matt Rutherford. After season 1, Matt Rutherford is never seen again until the final episode of Glee, in which he is just there. I didn't see an explanation. I might have missed it. And that to me it just blows me away. It just blows me away, honestly. So yeah, cool. All right. So that's all the wacky stuff that Ryan Murphy and his fellow Glee conspirators got away with from season 4 onwards of Glee. So let me know what you think of that. If you can think of anything else that I haven't mentioned, please pop it in the comments. We can all bond together. Chris Colfer, who plays Kurt, refers to it as having Glee TSD, which is very good. But thank you so much for watching. If you got to this point, that's brilliant. I really appreciate you. Think about subscribing. That would be really cool. You might not see many videos on this channel at the moment, but I'm doing it. I'm getting there. Let's be real. The endorphins of seeing people comment and like and subscribe, it helps. It makes you want to make more videos. So genuinely, like, if you do that, I'll probably make more. And let me know what you want to see. I was into every fandom there was. Twilight, Hunger Games, Fallen, like so many that I am not proud of now. I went to Twilight prom. You want to hear about that? Better subscribe and tell me that you want to hear about it. Thank you so much for watching. See